I want to talk to you about 3 principles of success. I think these principles will help you be the leader that you want to be, help you create success beyond where you are today, but also help you create significance in the work that you do. I think a lot of time people try to simplify this journey to success, and it's hard to simplify. The reason it's hard is because there's a lot of nuance to it. There's a lot of details into how you are showing up, what you do, how you do it, when you do it. And so a lot of people miss out on, the steps of success. But I'm not going to give you steps. I'm going to give you 3 core principles that come from my work as an executive coach with ambitious leaders that want to do impossible things. I help them do this through my coaching, and I want to share back with you what I see when I'm working with my clients that are getting the highest levels of success. These high-performing leaders are Inc. 5000 founders, CEOs, their team members. All of this is part of my data that I'm pulling from, but I want to share back the simple versions for you. These principles of success will help you become a stronger leader, but also help you create anything you want in your life if you're willing to adopt them. So here's the first one. You've got to reflect deeply. You've got to reflect on the results that you've created in the past. You've got to reflect on what has really happened. You can look back at your sales numbers. You can look back at the employees that you've hired. You can look back at marketing results, whatever it is in your life. You can even look back at the scale and where you are right now if you're trying to lose weight, for example. I use this example a lot about losing weight because I've been focused on my own health, and it's just one factor that we can measure with our own health and what we're doing, but it's also reflecting back, right? What have you done? Well, it shows up in your scale. You got to reflect deeply on where you're going. You got to get really clear about what you're trying to create, because a lot of leaders aren't very clear. They have sort of a murky vision about this, and they have some goals, but they're not crystal clear about what they're creating. I talk to a lot of leaders who want to get more clear about where they're going. So you've got to reflect deeply about the past, but also where you're going. And you also have to reflect deeply about who you are. When you reflect on how you've showed up, I really want you to think about what's really getting in the way of you growing beyond where you are today. This reflect deeply is a deep concept, and it's meant to be because there's a lot of that nuance that I mentioned earlier. The second principle of success is get intentional. Now, this is part of the core of my work as an executive coach. I help leaders that are ambitious already get really intentional about who they've been and who they need to become to create success in their life. Who do you need to become becomes the most important question that they answer for themselves. And when you get really clear about who you need to become, you get intentional about letting go of frustrated and becoming calm. When you get really clear about letting go of unfocused and becoming focused, or whatever the dichotomy between these ways of being are, when you get really intentional about it, you have much more chances to create the success you want in life. And that is really the key here. Getting intentional is not just about what you're going to do next. It's about how you're going to show up when you do whatever you need to do. If you're a professional speaker, like I am, or you've been asked to give a speech, you want to show up very intentionally in the right emotional state for that moment. And so if you are a leader, you want to make sure that you're showing up specifically, intentionally, for the moment that you have in front of you. And so sometimes you have to show up differently. We show up completely differently for our kids, our family members, for our friends. You want to get intentional about how you show up as a leader. And if you want to create success in your life, you want to get really intentional about what that looks like. The third principle here is take ownership. Now, this one is a little bit harder to understand than the other two. But taking ownership really is about not blaming anyone else, that knowing that you're the person that has to make it right. No one's coming to your rescue. When you take ownership of anything in your life, you're willing to own the challenges in front of you. You're willing to own the failures that you learn from. You're willing to own any small shifts that need to be made. taking ownership means that you are in control. You have the power. The reverse of that means you give the power to someone else. You blame someone else. You're not taking ownership as soon as you start blaming. And so every place in your life, when you take ownership of what's in front of you, the process to create whatever success you want to create, the challenges inside that, you want to take ownership. Taking ownership is a feeling inside that this is mine and I am the person here to address it. I'm here to fix it. I'm here to push forward beyond whatever it is in front of you. So the 3 principles of success are reflect deeply, number 1. Number 2 is get intentional. And number 3 is to take ownership. Those principles of success will guide you as you grow from where you are today to where you want to be. And they will continue to be with you as you iterate through this, as you continue to reflect deeply over time, as you continue to get intentional with whatever it is you're showing up to do as you're in your journey. But you also take ownership. And when you learn how to do all of these things really well, you have a great chance to create something beyond where you are today. My job is to help you create the success you want in your life. I create these behind the scenes episodes because I want you to see what's working inside of the executive coaching I do to help you in some way. And hopefully you'll find these valuable. You'll want to lean in, listen to more interviews, share this with people in our network. And that's really what's important about how I'm creating this content for you here on the podcast. When you think about your own growth as a leader, make sure you continue to evolve. These principles will help you, and it will help you become the leader that your team craves. If you have any questions about doing this and the journey, if you think you're a fit for some of the programs we have, make sure you check out what we have available at genehemet.com. When you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.